So one day, Ivana goes up to the Shetlands to visit Carla's grave, because although obviously the connection between them is severed now, is over. I don't know. Ivana and Carla had quite a special relationship, and there might be a little bit of evolution going on in the curse as well. Not saying that it's weakening in any sense, but there's some things, other things kind of going on as well, which I won't talk about just now. But anyway, she decides she just wants to kind of go up, and unfortunately, on her way back to Oban after visiting Carla's grave, she's involved in a really bad car accident, and dies. Lucille transforms straight away in the cabin. At first she's like upset after because she knows what's happened, but she just kind of needs to get on with it. Excuse me. So that kind of brings us to where Lucille's at. So she's already in the cabin, which is where we join them when a couple of years into Amy and Lucille's relationship. They're still in the same cabin, hence the decor and little things about the bourbon and things like that. And one thing that really was fun was discussing with Tony and with Tyne Roberts, who plays Lucille, was about their style of hunting, because we know the kinds of men that Lucille wants, but Amy's, although she loves her maker and she's bound by her and all the rest of it, she, there's something in Amy that's just, it's very, very kind of, she's a very strong kind of character and nonconformist, and very, she got chucked out the army for goodness sakes and all this kind of stuff. So, and with the other things that are happening with the curse in the background, which are not relevant at all in this film, but maybe in a feature film, with all that kind of stuff going on, Amy's sort of deciding, she kind of like tries to test the water a little bit. And so what she does is she doesn't always bring back the kind of guys that Lucille would rather prey on. And this causes little sort of domestics between Lucille and Amy. Now, looking back to the short film, the actors did know that when Amy brings back Ben Reynolds, played by Jamie Evans, the wonderful Jamie Evans, when she brings Ben back, who is the complete opposite of the nasty guy that you see at the start, I wanted him to be a real contrast, like such a lovable, innocent kind of guy, really not the kind that Lucille appreciates being brought back. But at the end of the day, food's food. You gotta eat. You gotta eat tonight, and if that's what was brought home tonight, that's what you gotta eat tonight. But something I kind of I can't remember if I had sort of done something about it in the storyboard, but once we got there, and there's 100 different things happening at once, and I just didn't really think of it properly at the time. But the actors did, Lucille and Amy did sort of exchange a glance where, I said to Lucille, I said, you're quite annoyed with her for bringing this really sweet guy, and the minute he walks in the door, he's scent and everything, he's a good guy, he's harmless, and so you just give her a little look, and she just kind of gives you a little look. And really I should have done a close-up for that, to no words, no explanation. I mean, because the audience wouldn't even know what any of that is about, because it's not, Lucille's preferred meat type is not explained in any way. But I think with the contrast of the guy, the kind of nasty guy at the start, might be enough to kind of delude. But for me, I don't know, in a way, because you know your audience is the person that you're telling your story to, but, and I didn't want to be too obscure, but it was quite important for me that the characters, even though we don't delve into that stuff too much, but that they stayed true to how they would react, whether we do close up of it or not, which we didn't in the end. I mean, they do still share a look and you can very quickly, briefly see it in the film, but I don't think it really means anything to anybody watching it who doesn't know this information. But yeah, so that's that really. That's yeah, so there's the Havana influence, the kind of Spanish guitars, the music at the start when Amy's walking through the woods, and it's a song called, let me see if I can pronounce this right, Sianji Niti, and it's a song by a band called Goribor, and Goribor are a Serbian band, and I was online one day and I wanted, because again to keep the Havana thing going, I wanted a, you know, and I also wanted quite a bluesy sort of Americana feel to the film as well. So I just typed in like something like blues something, or blues Americana, I don't know, something like blues song slash angry rock or something like that. I can't remember what I typed in, but I typed in, and anyway, this song was one of the songs that popped up on a particular site with lots of like kind of bluesy based songs. And when I listened to it, I thought, I mean, I can hear the blues beat. I was like, but this is so much more. This is so much more than, this is like rock, and it's, and the tension that builds up in it. And I was like, this song is amazing. I never really had thought of using a song like this, but there's something about it. So I downloaded it I got it on iTunes and downloaded it, and then I was sort of listening to it on my way to work, you know, or walking into work, and even the beat of it for a walk, I thought, yeah, she needs to be kind of like, I don't know, suddenly I'd had an initial opening sequence kind of formulated in my mind, but this song really, really did bring that whole opening sequence that you see in the film very clearly in my mind. As I was walking into work, I was walking in Amy's footsteps, I was feeling her pent up kind of venom and frustration and anger and all the things that she kind of is anyway, never mind having the she-wolf curse on top. And slowly the whole opening sequence just sort of, I could picture it. I was like, yeah, and she'll do this and she'll do this and I just never get sick of the song. And so, and luckily neither did Paul John Ross, my creative collaborator on this project from Kuzlik Media, you know, who, poor thing, had to listen to it many more times than me through the editing process and whatnot. But yeah, he agreed that it was just very fitting to kind of open the film with, and it was very fitting to the character, and you know, he saw a way that we could make it work with the, you know, where it was cut, you know, in terms of the opening section that I'd written with it's kind of montagey style, not montagey, but you know, kind of just lots of sequence sort of actions intercut, and we worked really closely on trying to kind of pull that together, and you know, when we're actually on location, people just came up with so... I mean, there was a storyboard and stuff, but the ideas that people came up with were absolutely amazing, you know, and, you know, I come off looking like a much, you know, more accomplished director than I really am because of it, because of some of these shots and some of the ideas that were thrown in, and it was like that the whole way through, you know. I mean, you know, we stuck to the story and we stuck to the storyboard, but that magic of things that are suggested, you know, on the day and in the moment, and when you're trying to get around issues and problems and things like that, the creative and sort of, I don't know, it was just really magical, and, you know, I'm so grateful to that, and that's what I love so much about collaborating, and just everybody brings their best, and, you know, and then you just use the best for the shot, and it was great. And as I say, I had a picture of this whole sequence in my head, but what actually came out was so much better. It was so much better, and I can say that of the whole film, and that's, you know, that really is because of everybody, you know, not only bringing it to life, but just making it jump out at you more, and yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, oh yeah, so that Serbian band, I found out who the distributor was for that song, and it's a company called Dancing Bear Productions, and they are a Czech music distribution company based in Prague, I think. And so I wrote to them, to Anna, and I said, oh, I understand that you represent Goribor. Is there any chance that we could... Now, with any kind of actual real band and stuff, the amount of people that I contacted for music license permissions and things, and got absolutely nowhere. Like, everybody... I mean, there was an American folk song that I really wanted, and I managed to speak to the actual songwriter of the song. I mean, I had to phone him in the middle of the night to kind of speak to him, his time, wherever he lives in the US, and he was lovely, and he's like, you need to contact this agents, you know, for the song, and that went on for blooming months, and eventually they were like, yes, you can have it if you give us, you know, $8,000, and I was like, that's more than the whole, like, films cost to make, so, like, almost double as much, so I was like, no, you're alright, but yeah, Goribor gave it to us for free, and I put together a proposal in terms of saying, you know, we'll send you a copy of the film, and we'll advertise you, we'll talk about you and things like that, and they seemed quite happy with that, you know, so that was awesome for us. But as I say, yeah, that song was quite important because it was the one connection in a way to the birth of the curse in Serbia, which is where this band is from, but also I thought it really kind of musically enhanced Amy's character, and all the stuff going on with the cursed venom, you know, going through our blood, and, you know, when we get that sort of close up of the bite, and you can just feel it pumping around, and she just needs a release, you know, which is why she stabs that tree